mold, and expensive damage. Most commercial roofs fail slowly until they fail big. Why rip it off when you can restore it? Our silicone coatings stop leaks, prevent mold, and extend your roof life without the high replacement cost. It's a 30-year watertight roof, energy efficient, leak-free, and half the cost of replacement. And it's backed by GE's manufacturer warranties. Facility managers love this. No disruption, no tear-off, and long-term protection for your property. Trust Absolute Restoration for your commercial roof.
When people are fed, futures are nourished. They can connect with the world around them, unlock endless possibilities, and thrive. Join the movement to end hunger. Volunteer. Advocate. Donate. Go to feedingamerica.org/act now. Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Well, hello. Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Loppon. Hopefully you're having a good day here as we have had a pretty nice day. Hopefully you found some time to enjoy the outdoors because it has just been absolutely spectacular, and we do anticipate that we'll probably have a pretty nice evening on the way as well as we continue to look ahead over the next couple of days of what will be building heat. We better find a way to enjoy it because there's a lot of that heat that is still on the way. Outside right now in the Room to Room Weather Center, again, we're looking at a cool start again for tomorrow morning with conditions that are for the most part going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of the lower 60s. That is, in some cases, warmer than we were for today. In some cases, pretty much right on track. I got to send our little push alert that goes out before the broadcast because my computer I was trying to do it with didn't work that. So give me 3, 2, 1, a chance to push that on out. Okay, now I'll concentrate on what we're talking about here for just a moment here. Certainly, the warmer conditions are just a little bit warmer for tomorrow. I say that, temperatures today in some cases only in the mid to low 80s for highs. So the low 90s on the way for quite a few spots tomorrow certainly is quite the increase that we're tracking here in the Room to Room Weather Center. And then again, as you can see, significant heat is ahead in a big way as we continue to track what could be near triple-digit temperatures. I know this is September, but in our dry season, a lot of times we get that extra little enhancement. So I'm hoping that's not the case, but largely looking like it could be. But look at this, 81 degrees right now, feeling like 79 at this instant in the Tupelo area at this time. So beautiful weather out there, and those clouds all fairly flat, a sign that no vertical development, not much moisture out there. Of course, it looks like that reporting state experiencing some problems. I'm going to go back a second here. You might wonder, the last few days, why have we not been dealing with showing the temperature from time to time? They've been having some issues with the reporting station at the Tupelo Regional Airport, and so that's why that dew point is so low there. That's probably inaccurate data at this time, but so it's something, of course, working to work through. It's the off season. Hopefully they'll be able to get that figured out here pretty soon. Outside in Crenshaw, 86 degrees. That temperature feels like pretty much right there where the actual temperature is. And then again, it's looking dry out there in the Delta, Pontotoc. You can see that I also reference that Tupelo data with Pontotoc as well because it's still fairly close to Tupelo Regional Airport. Temperature 81 as well, generally speaking, and those clouds relatively limited in overall coverage there. 81 degrees, as you can see, in 7 p.m. 71 is look toward 10, 66 is look toward 1 o'clock in the morning, and then mid-60s by early morning on your Wednesday. It's a little warmer in some cases than where we were for this morning, but we have a lot warmer on the way as we look ahead. As far as severe weather goes, that is going to be something they have on the plains. Actually, a level 2 risk out there. I point this out because this is our nearest chances for rainfall that just aren't going to get here. You can see a lot of active weather back that direction. This is a 12-hour loop here where you see that right there, kind of what we call a dry line, some thunderstorms and severe weather back out on the plains. Now, a lot of times we would say when you see some of these storms like that kind of coming toward us there, that perhaps they eventually try to make it here. But we have a huge area of high pressure that sits pretty much right about there over Nashville. And that is going to be one of the things that's helping to suppress our rain chances the next few days. And even though there is a front that eventually is to the north and may eventually get a little closer to us, and bring maybe the slightest to slight rain chances later this week. No cool air will make it from that, and that front never actually gets all the way down here. Look at the Mississippi Live weather radar. Again, mostly clear at this time. Nearest rain chances down there south of Jackson. For most locations across the state, though, we continue dry into this evening, and most of this week remains relatively dry as well. Certainly on the northern part of the state, that is the case. Here's Futurecast, and going forward over the next couple of hours here, a couple of sprinkles still possible down closer to Jackson. There's just a little wave of moisture coming off the Gulf of Mexico as you get storms, develop there off the coast or near the coastline, then work their way inland. That's kind of what this is. That happens effectively when you get in these patterns where there's not a lot of driving forces to the weather there. So again, those spotty showers still possible there down to the south. I do love how this is so optimistic as to say maybe one little sprinkle there in Itala County. That's really pushing it. That's not going to happen. I'd be really shocked about that. Maybe one or two sprinkles closer to Yazoo City overnight. And then mostly dry conditions. Again, partly cloudy skies for the first part of early Wednesday morning. Honestly, about as nice as conditions get going forward. If you haven't got the chance to experience these arguably cool conditions early this morning, you have tomorrow morning, because after that, those temperatures start getting a lot warmer as we look toward the extended forecast, especially looking toward next week. So in the next 24 hours, you can see here, we're looking at about 62 degrees at 6 a.m. We're 73 by 9 a.m., mid-80s on the way by noontime. Again, normal high this time of year, somewhere in the upper 80s. I think we'll be above that a little bit on our hour-by-hour forecast. You can see over the next 24, we show peak temperature at about 89 degrees. I expect quite a few spots crossing that 90-degree threshold, though, for tomorrow, especially central and southern parts of the state where it will be quite a bit warmer there in some spots. Coming up here in 60 seconds, we'll be looking at that trend, and you're going to want to stick around, because if you are one of those folks that have been like cold plus pool equals too cool to get in, this upcoming weekend might have what you're looking at for you, as we are heating things up. How hot, how quickly, and we look at that extended forecast at how things probably trend beyond even the next 7 days, as Mississippi Live weather at 6 continues here from the Room to Room Weather Center right after this.
Your family deserves the most beautiful smile possible. At Tupelo Smiles, we use precision dentistry and advanced technology to make visiting the dentist an amazing experience. Relationship-based comprehensive care. Come discover the difference at Tupelo Smiles.
What would you give for a child you loved? To make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. Every single one of us can make the stars align, because when we come together, hope and joy will shine.
'Cause in the sky, I think I saw you.
1 in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The Health Class Film Guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lobhon.
Well, good evening. Back here in the Room to Room Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. Hopefully you're enjoying what is a spectacular evening. 84 degrees right now in Winona under mostly clear skies. Again, feels like temperatures coming in the middle 80s. I mean, that is beautiful for this time of the year. Winds are calm and just a great night. Make sure to send in those Weather Watcher pictures using the Mississippi Live Weather app. We hope to have a whole slew of those we can show you come up tonight at 10 o'clock. But of course, when it's so clear like this, if you're just out there enjoying it, that's good enough. And again, appreciate the good folks there at North Mississippi Storm Chasers, who we, of course, work with on this camera network. They do such a great job, and appreciate all of you that choose to support them there. Looking at the temperature right now in Batesville, coming in 86 degrees as well. That dew point at 61, so pretty pleasant. And again, those winds remain relatively light there under those almost completely clear skies, even looking toward the horizon there. And then Rolling Fork, almost always one of our hottest locations, still coming in 89. Those clouds relatively, a little bit more vertical development there, because we do have a few more sprinkles down there closer to the central part of the state. As we look at that hour-by-hour forecast into your Wednesday day planner, starting off around 62, we're 85 by noon, and then 89 as we head toward the afternoon. Our winds out of the south only about 2 miles per hour. So not a lot of wind movement there, but there's a shift toward the south, and that will start bringing in eventually a little bit more stickiness. But honestly, it is the heat in every way, shape, or form that is the bigger story as that is building. Obviously tonight, that's not the case as we are dry and mostly clear here on our Futurecast. While it depicts a couple sprinkles, again, they're closer to, say, Rolling Fork, where we were looking just a moment ago there, Rolling Fork, pretty much right there, just off of this where we had it on the screen. But again, that's just a sign of, again, a few of those showers trying to build in from South Mississippi. We mainly have these easterly sort of winds. Notice the arrows. They go fairly calm as, again, mostly calm conditions and clear skies overnight, making it kind of cool. Maybe a couple patches of fog, not an impossibility, but I think we're mostly a little too dry for that out there with clear skies into the morning. Low temperatures down to 61 in Water Valley. We're about 64 in Grenada, 65 Greenwood, 67 Greenville. Of course, always more stickiness out there in the Delta. That one of the contributing factors, but still a couple 50s. I mean, we're Red Bay, we're 59 there in Hamilton, Alabama. And as we look over the next 7 days, I think we're definitely trending upward there. 60, the low this morning, about 62 though for tomorrow, and then kind of hovering somewhere in the mid 60s into this upcoming weekend. The real heat starts to build by the first of next week, where we start heading mid 60s, upper 60s, and back into the 70s. Now, you might say, why does that make a difference? Well, that's always kind of one of those signs when those low temperatures really start getting it up there, you know that we're starting to see a little stickiness and obviously a lot of heat, those highs. Well, you might not want to see them here in a minute, but we'll show them in a couple of minutes. Again, mostly dry again for your Wednesday. Just a few patchy clouds out here. Holly Springs, Corinth, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, but not a lot of moisture out there. If I would widen this, though, slightly, we do have a front that we are watching. Still well back to the north and west as of tomorrow. I mean, you can see here, still as of tomorrow afternoon, somewhere in the neighborhood about 500 miles away from us, morning and into the afternoon. So long distance, most of the rain chances then as a result out here toward Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, if for whatever reason you have interest to take you back that direction. Most of these storms not quite as heavy as what we have out there for today or have had the last couple of days there. Notice how little actual advancement this front is making. Underwhelming, but it will get close enough that it is trying to kick out a couple sprinkles slightly closer, but I think that'll probably be more Thursday before that happens, and we'll look at that with Futurecast here in a minute. So we're 94 for the high temperature in Greenwood, 92 Belzona, everybody back close to the 90-degree point at least, and a little bit above our 30-year average, our normal for this time of the year. But I'll say this, the last couple of years we have had these heat waves in September and even in October, so this is not unusual, especially with the drought that unfortunately we have in place, and that continues to build. So looking again, partly cloudy skies into Wednesday evening, most of those clouds out here back toward the Delta, and just kind of keeping it dry and clear into the first part of early morning on your Thursday as well. Now notice if we slide it just a little north and west, a few more sprinkles start showing up out here toward Missouri and out in the Arkansas. Watch how those kind of try to roll in with this weak wave here in Thursday. I'm hoping maybe this has obviously some clouds and it'd be nice to get some moisture out of it. But even at that point there, I pulled out that tool to kind of track how far away the front was a minute ago. I want to do that again here to kind of give you the comparison. That front, it's trying to say 270 miles ahead of that. There's enough lift, maybe enough moisture to produce a few showers. I'm not saying this is wish casting, which is where we, cast. I mean, obviously it's a forecast. It's more wish than anything else. But I will say that I'm not confident on that. I'm still going to keep trying to water the plants outside of my house, and I'd be planning to have that elevated water bill part of your plans. If you're still trying to keep some gardens going, I'd like to hear in the comments over here if that's something you're still working to do. But as you'll notice, we're not that far away from moisture, but certainly in our area, I think that's just going to be an extremely uphill battle as far as that is concerned. Even in your Thursday evening, while this has a couple sprinkles getting close, just not impressed. But we're watching for that Northeast game there up in Boonville, their home opener. I'll actually be out there this Thursday and love to see you there if you're able to make it out for that. So 94 in Tupelo and Amory for the high temperatures on Thursday. Notice a little warmer, slightly cooler near the Tennessee state line where we do have, again, a little bit in the way of cloud cover impacting us somewhat. Mid-90s out here for Greenwood, Cleveland, Greenville, all in the mid-90s, maybe adding 2 or at most 3 degrees for that heat index, which is not particularly high. So 94, that high temperature on Thursday. Again, 88 where we typically should be for this time of the year. We're 94 for Friday, mid-90s on the way as we head towards Saturday and Sunday. 7-day forecast has us in the middle to upper 90s by Monday and Tuesday of next week. And by that point, we'll easily be about 10 degrees above our 30-year average for this time of the year. If this went out, say, 8 to 10 days, as is the case with the Mississippi Live Weather app. You would see that in some cases that could cross the triple digit point. The way that happens is because when we have such dry air, sometimes that helps to boost that temperature that extra little bit. That's one of the things we'll look at in a little more detail coming up here in 60 seconds as we are looking ahead toward the tropics and kind of how the dry weather is playing in with some of the rain chances in the far extended forecast. That as Mississippi Live Weather at 6 continues from the Room to Room Weather Center right after this.
You may see a teen struggling to find his way. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we see a teen gaining the confidence and skills to land his first job. Kids today need people to see their potential and help them achieve it. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we do whatever it takes to help kids succeed. Because when we see young people, we see limitless possibilities. Do you? Join us, Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
So I don't know if this is the joke they were going for, but Patty on YouTube mentioning wash, rinse, repeat for continue. And I think they're talking about the fact that it's just kind of warm and dry every day, or at least getting warmer. But I think that's the way the car is going to have to go for a while. Wash, rinse, and repeat. I at least know on my driveway, it's a rock driveway. It's pretty dusty. Not particularly. It needs something to water it down. I do see Deb on Facebook mentioning that as well. A lot of the folks. So yeah. It is definitely rather dry out there for sure. Our shot here looking at the tropics, looking at the zone here where we typically look for tropical development this time of year. And what do you not see? And obviously, I don't see anything of major significance out there. So a good sign, hopefully something that continues to be the case. Let's look at the far extended here. I like to show this future atmospheric moisture. I think it does a great job of when we see something spinning up, showing us something. Obviously, you get these little swirls way out there in the tropical Atlantic, but we're like a week, 2 weeks out. I mean, there's not a lot out there. So the pattern, cross our fingers, about as good as it looks for the United States this time of year. We'll have to watch, of course, the Gulf. Plenty of warm air out there and see how that works out. But I mean, at least in the nearer term, things are largely looking good. Now, obviously, we need some rainfall. And when we look at the far extended forecast, a couple ways we do that, looking at temperature outlook, the 6 to 10 day time period. And as we've kind of already alluded to, looking beyond the 7-day forecast, it's hot. And I mean, it's not just us, it's all the way through the Midwest there with those temperatures way above our normal for this time of the year. So definitely on a hot streak going forward. But even if we go beyond that, looking closer to say 8 to 14 days, we're really warm. And obviously today is what? September 9th. We're looking all the way through that period that goes even through September 17th to 23rd, well above normal temperatures. And so we think the cumulative nature about the way that's working will continue boosting the drought conditions. All indications are that's the case. As you can see here, we're in the drought. Again, pretty good likelihood to see our drought increasing in intensity over the course of the next week to 2 weeks. And even beyond that, even looking the far extended, unless we get some kind of tropical moisture, unless there's a fairly substantial shift in that pattern, it's looking like our chances are still pretty good to keep that precipitation at a relative limited amount as well. Look at the drought monitor, of course, that newest one coming out last week. And I need to go ahead and close my frame capture thing here at the bottom. Give me a moment for that so I can actually get down to show this for you. But if we kind of bring this in a little closer in our area, you'll see the majority of the area in some form of at least limited drought there. Level 2 drought, as you can see out here, Bruce for Chickasaw County, back out toward Pontotoc County and out toward Oxford. And obviously that has a lot to do with just where we are versus normal. Over the course of the last month, a lot of spots just have not had a lot of rainfall here. In some spots only, 16% of what we typically would see. Only about a quarter of the amount of rainfall we typically should see over that period for Columbus. So that's a scenario where the longer that happens, the more we see our drought conditions increasing with rainfall deficits in some of those spots there as you can see, over 2 to almost 3 inches. So for a lot of locations, obviously, that rainfall deficit, the lack of rainfall for where we should be, still pretty significant out there. So that does enhance some of the fire danger issues and things we have. So then let's check from the hydrology end of this and just kind of look over the next 7 days. Best case scenario, Weather Prediction Center, how much rainfall we talk about for our region here. That's day 7. Let's go the whole 7-day swath. And unfortunately, this is not good. As you can see, not just us, but most of the region, very limited amounts of rainfall. So if you're looking for meaningful rainfall, unfortunately, this pattern is not one that really brings it to us. It's one where we are dry and we are hot and we're actually enhancing the drought conditions because the heat really bakes out more of that moisture. So yeah, Deb, I agree. We need rain. River sent a picture of the moon from Florence last night. I'm going to look at that on some of those weather pictures for 10 o'clock and appreciate everyone for submitting those there. A reminder, you also can download the app now for Apple TV. So for those of you that watch on Apple TV or have an Apple TV device, if you download the Mississippi Live Weather app there, you can watch on the bigger screen as opposed to just the small screen. So now finally have Roku and that. And if you happen to watch us on the small screen and you wish you had a bigger version, of course, you can cast to the TV in some cases. But also, you know, there's the option to look us up on YouTube, just Mississippi Live. If you just search that on YouTube, it'll come up on our live streams, something that you can take a look at on there as well. So appreciate everyone for supporting us. And of course, our next live broadcast tonight will be at 10 p.m. here from the Room to Room Weather Center as we're looking ahead toward our Friday night football game of the week. Appreciate the folks at Langston and Lott for sponsoring that for us this year so that we can hopefully be able to, bring you good content related to that. Of course, 10 p.m. tonight, the vote is close. In fact, I'm going to bring it back in here into the Room to Room Weather Center for just a moment so that we can check and just see just exactly how close. So give me just a moment here to kind of bring that up here for a second. I have to pull that up on Facebook myself. So give me a moment to pull that up. And let's check and see just how close, because the vote has been extremely close over the course of the last, it still is really, really close. So with 33%, 1/3 of the vote, we have East Webster at Biggersville with 2,568 votes. If we check out Coffeyville, Water Valley at 30% with 2,402 votes. And it looks like right now the lead at 35% with 2,779 votes is Mantachie at Hatley. So let me think, 2779. I want to double check let's get that to go down. 2779. That's 200, only about 210 votes there between East Webster, Biggersville, and Mantachie, Hatley. So excited to see how that plays out. We will have those results for you coming up tonight at 10 o'clock at Mississippi Live Weather. We're looking forward to heading out there again and appreciate those good folks at Langston and Lott, Casey Lott, for sponsoring our Mississippi Live Game of the Week. Of course, looking forward to that. We will see you at 10 o'clock here. Appreciate all of you for your comments. Bethany saying vote Water Valley at Coffeyville. Hey, all those votes, go and cast them. There still is time for that. So we will see you, of course, later this week. And we will see you tonight at 10.
You need some help?
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Growing up, Gabe was naturally curious. When he began to discover weather, Gabe just didn't want to know what was happening, but he wanted to know why it was happening. Gabe became fascinated with tornadoes, and it impacted his life. He wanted to pursue a career in meteorology. Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.